Halle Berry's new horror movie, Never Let Go. I don't know if I'm disappointed or if I'm just really confused. You know that feeling of not having closure when you need it? That's what I'm feeling leaving this movie. So Never Let Go, directed by Alexander Aja, stars Halle Berry. It's about this mom who lives in the woods with her two boys. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic horror movie. Apparently the world has ended. They're the only ones left. And they live in this, little house in the woods. And the only way they can leave the house is if they are tied to a rope that's attached to the house, because there is some evil in the woods. And the evil cannot touch you if you're attached to the rope. And the evil cannot, touch the house, so to speak, unless the evil touches you when you get back in the house. I'm gonna keep this short because it's so hot right now. Standout performances all around. I mean, it's Halle Berry. She's incredible. She's amazing. When she does two extremes, like when she is just over the top hilarious, or when she's really serious, that's when I like her best. Not saying that she doesn't do well in the middle. She does, but I don't know. For me, when I am, experiencing a movie that she is in, I get the best from her when she's at those two extremes. I feel like she just shows out when she's either really, really funny or she's really, really serious, but she plays that middle just fine. This is something that's just very, very serious. We're coming in at the end of their story. They've always been living here for a very long time, since before the boys were born. We learned that this house was built by her father for her mother, who started sensing a presence, an evil presence wouldn't leave the house. So he invented this system with the rope so that she could leave the house, and now she has passed that down to her daughter. She's passed that down to her boys, and she has two twin boys, Samuel and Nolan. The big question with this movie, and this is intentional, right? This is the intentional experience that you're going to. You're going in there with a question mark from the jump. Is this real? Is what she experiencing real? Is there an actual evil in the woods, or is she just very mentally ill and she's just raised her boys in this mental illness? The problem with that question is that it never gets answered. This director tries to have it both ways. He tries to address both the fact that, are they the only people in the world, and is this evil real? Sorry, this is where spoilers come in. If you are like, I don't want spoilers, dip out now. So that question, are they the only people in the world, and is the evil real? He decides no and yes is the answer to both of these questions. No, they are not the only people in the world. She did not tell the truth about that one. The world did not end. But at the same time, the evil is real, but it might not be. It might be a figment of somebody's imagination. It's never quite clear. Now, not saying that clarity always has to come about. There are movies where they have left things a little muddy on purpose, and it works. And that's because it's like the movie puts you at a fork in the road, and you feel a tug towards both, right? You could go in either direction, but you're unsure which is the right one. There is no tug here. That ending was just not strong enough. It wasn't full enough in order to feel that tug. So now you're just left standing at the fork going, do I go left or do I go right? And both pathways just look uneven and unfinished. Oh my God, it's hot. This is like the second or third horror movie that I have seen that takes place in the woods, a small family in the woods, post-apocalyptic, possible supernatural things happening. The first one was with Nicolas Cage earlier this year. I do not remember the name of the movie. It's actually a really good movie, believe it or not. I don't remember the name of it though. And then this one. I say believe it or not because it's Nicolas Cage and he just be doing things. The lack of clarity starts in the very beginning, but this is when it works because, the movie opens and we're automatically introduced to what could either be a real thing happening or a delusion, and we're not sure which is which. And then we meet the boys, and we get to see their personalities from the jump. You have Samuel, who appears to be the physically strong one of the two. And it's not just that when he wakes up, he immediately starts doing push-ups, but also the way he ties his rope. He ties his rope around his waist, this almost strong confidence. And then his brother Nolan, who seems to be the more soft one of the two, he doesn't get up and exercise right away. He has a bell around his ankle because he sleepwalks, and he seems to be a little more quiet and reserved and a little more aback, and he full bodies that rope around his chest. So clearly we have two very different boys, and we're led to believe that Samuel is the strong one and Nolan is the weak one. But then we're forced to look at strength in a different way because we're talking about physical strength. That's what we're introduced to with these boys. And later we're realizing that physical strength doesn't make for mental weakness. And now we're having to look at these boys just a little bit different. Nolan is our narrator, and because he's a child, he's automatically an unreliable narrator. And because he has that natural innocence that kind of guides him. And everyone's unreliable because you have a mother who might be mentally ill, a son who is 100% devoted to her and does whatever she says. And then you have Nolan, who's our narrator and our guide, and he's the one who introduces doubt into the story. So we start off strong. Basically what I'm saying is this. We start off strong. We have great characters, great character development, beautiful cinematography. I mean, it's very neutral toned in terms of color palette. Great setting. I mean, it's Halle Berry. She's just fantastic. She's fabulous. She's amazing. Everything is set up well. Everything is done well. It just doesn't end well. And I think if it ended well, it would have been spectacular. But the problem is we're left with way too many necessary questions. Way too many. But the performances alone, that's what's worth the ticket. It's not a bad movie. It's not bad at all. I just was left a little unsatisfied. I'd say a solid 6 out of 10. The ending just knocks it down a couple of pegs, but everything else is fabulous. It's set up so great. It just does not end well. Other than that, it's a fun little ride of a thriller / horror / supernatural. I don't know what the hell is going on. But for the most part, I was engaged. I enjoyed it. I was just left unsatisfied. And that irks my nerves because I need to know. I need to at least be pulled in one direction. And I'm not pulled in any direction.